somebody out there in the audience, two things I had to ask you about today.
Uh-oh.
One is some idiot in the hotel that I was staying in actually lit a M80 in a room.
Oh, how nice.
Now, what are the effects going to be on their hearing?
Well, I'd say the carpet's got a big hole blown in it. We'll
well,
start
yeah,
there.
that's,
All right. Okay. Was this idiot very close to your room?
actually the next room over.
Oh, how nice.
It actually hurt my ears when I went
Does
on.
he still have his fingers?
I have no idea. Because,
Okay, well, that'd be
no,
my
I actually
first
saw the
question.
gentleman the next day. We had a long talk, and he said that he didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
But-
What did he mean to do?
Cigarettes and M80s and cherry bombs don't mix. So anyway,
My roommates in college did that to me.
you're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding. They put it under my bed. Blew a big hole in the carpet. Didn't wake me up.
Oh, man.
No, sound sleeper.
You sleep a lot better than I do. So anyway, people were hearing loud booms this weekend. They were probably too close to some of those loud booms. One is, have they totally affected their hearing? And the second thing is, some poor child out there fell prey to a overzealous father or uncle or older brother and said, carry this sparkler around. The sparklers
even
are
better.
2,000 degrees.
Oh, they'll leave a mark.
And they can burn you. So let's go with both scenarios here, bud.
Okay, first things. Okay, loud noises, especially explosions, have been studied rather extensively by our tax-funded United States Navy. Actually, yeah, there's an awful lot of nerve damage that gets done through explosions in tight spaces, sometimes known as gun turrets, okay, and so on and so forth. And what they found, okay, was that irreparable damage does get done. Okay, so you'll end up with an explosion, you'll end up with an implosion, you'll end up with a sudden pulse of energy, okay, that hits your ears. Okay, and you can wear ear protection. It may or may not make as much difference as you think, because not only do you have air conduction, but bone conduction as well. So it really depends upon the nature of the explosion and proximity. Okay, so what do? So, you get whacked. Okay, the first thing you're going to notice that your ears are going to ring. Okay, that's the first sign that, as Larry Perry would say, that's your first idiot light going off. Okay, now what do other than, clock the guy or a gal that just injured you, okay, which you had a hard time doing. All right, and what you can, in fact, do if you catch it early enough, and this research was done by our tax-paid United States Navy, was to use N-acetylcysteine, one of my favorite medications, NAC. And NAC is a very, very potent antioxidant. And when the damage to the nerves hit, okay, it initiates an inflammatory cascade which can be aborted and to a greater or lesser extent reversed if you take the medication early in the illness. Okay, very interesting work. And much of it was done at Duke, where I came from. And so, N-acetylcysteine is cool stuff. How much do you take? A bit more than I usually recommend. It's about 1,000 milligrams, 2 to 3, 4 times a day, until you feel like you're belching eggs. And you do that for a week or two, and you can mitigate much, if not all, of the damage, depending upon whether there's any puncture to the eardrum and that kind of business.
No wonder you're such a big believer in NAC.
Yeah, NAC is just the most incredible stuff, and it's dirt cheap. Very, very interesting stuff. So answer number one is N-acetylcysteine early and often. Okay, and the second question had to do what do you need to do with somebody who may be burned by those little, magnesium oxide actually, cinders that are being thrown off by these sparklers. Well, for the most part, they'll hit the skin, they'll burn. They're very, very small punctate burns. They won't necessarily leave any scars. But the big problem isn't in the skin. The big problem is in the eyes. Okay, because when these little cinders hit the eye, it can cause not just a burn, but it can cause an inflammatory cascade that can cost a great deal more. So, if you're an adult, okay, and you've had too much to drink, put away the sparklers. If you're an adult and you've not had too much to drink, put away the sparklers. They're for adult use, not for children to be playing with. But yeah, it's the heat, but also the inflammatory issue that follows the burn. That's the biggest issue. And some time ago, we had a guy who caused this dermatitis of his arms. Remember that? There was the welder, the electrician.
Yeah.
Guess what? Same problem.
I'll be darned.
It's the same issue. So yeah, and you can actually brand people with those hot wires. It's actually kind of cool if you're in a fraternity. We used to do worse things with those. So, and you can't really put them out very easily. So
that's true. Yeah.
one of the worst things you can do is throw them in a trash can.
Whoops.
You know, that little hot wire can cause a major issue. And sometimes that's done intentionally, unfortunately, but that's what happens.